Now, Ghana's neighbor, Nigeria, has recorded its first case of the deadly epidemic coronavirus in Lagos. The Federal Ministry of Health confirmed the positive test of the virus in Nigeria Friday morning in a statement signed by the Health Minister, Dr. Asagi Ahanire. The minister's statement disclosed that the case is an Italian citizen who works in Nigeria and returned from Milan, Italy, to Lagos on February 25.
The case was recorded on February 27. It is the first to be reported in Nigeria. The patient was confirmed by the virology laboratory of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital. The Nigerian government is strengthening measures to ensure an outbreak in Nigeria is controlled and contained quickly. The Nigerian government has spoken of beefing up preparedness capabilities since the first confirmation of cases in China. The government then appealed to citizens not to indulge in spreading misinformation that would cause fear and panic.
Chinedu Ize is a reporter from this day newspaper in Nigeria. He joins us online. Thank you very much for your time, Chinedu. What's the general feeling amongst Nigeria after, the confirmed case?
Yeah, there is fear everywhere. Although we've been expecting, because Nigeria is a very large country, we have this high traffic, international traffic, and it's traffic that is, a lot of people coming into Nigeria and go out. It's a situation that we envisage might happen.
Right. Would you say that before the confirmation, Nigerians were generally aware of the precautions to take? Are they panicking now?
Yes, because, we had Ebola some years ago. The apparatus, the security and health apparatus we had then, we did not dismantle them at the airport. So what we did now was to fortify what we had. And so when the coronavirus, was when it became public, when the Chinese made it public in January, we just have to put up our systems again. So everything is working very well. But you know that there will be apprehension, there will be skepticism by the citizens, which is normal. But I can assure you that the Nigerian government is doing very well to make sure it doesn't spread. And the Italian is being monitored, and health-wise is even stable. Satan is not getting worse and is being monitored in level.
What about the airports and the exit points? Has anything changed? Have they beefed up, for instance, security and checks to make sure that it's not just one case, or it could be more, or maybe that's the only one, hopefully, that Nigeria will have to record?
That's the only one, and I'm very, very hopeful that it will not spread. We are in charge of whatever possibilities that might happen, but I can assure you it will not spread. One good news is that he's getting better.
Right, we lost him there. But I also want to ask, in a statement that we read from the federal, government, it mentioned, for instance, that checks were being made on the people who had come into contact with this Italian man. Do we have any updates on those checks? Hello, Chinedu, can you hear us? I think we may have lost Chinedu. He is a reporter from Nigeria, Lagos, where the very first case of coronavirus has been recorded. Now, the Federal Ministry of Health confirmed the positive test of the virus in Nigeria Friday morning in a statement signed by the Health Minister, Dr. Asagi Ahanire. The minister's statement disclosed that the case is an Italian who works in Lagos who had returned to Lagos on February 25. Now, let's take a quick look at... Okay. I think we have Chinedu back online. Can you hear me, Chinedu?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Much better. So in a statement that we read from the Federal Ministry, it said, for instance, that checks were being made on the people who had come into contact with the Italian man. Do you have any updates on that?
No, they have not given us anybody that has been contacted or somebody that has been, taken in. But they gave the details of the hotel, his movement from Lagos to Ogun State, and his meetings with his investment partners. That's what we know now. We have not seen how that they have stopped anybody or somebody has been checked in into the health facility to check whether the person is positive or not.
Now, one of the major fears of the World Health Organization was for the coronavirus to be detected in areas they consider with not so strong health system. Now, you know the health system in Nigeria. Do you think that your health system is strong enough to curtail, the development now?
Of course, you know that some years back, Nigeria was able to effectively manage it. In fact, Nigeria became a reference point in IATA at the International World Health Organization and international organizations because of the effective way Nigeria manages. There's no, the idea of the health system is not effective. It's not because everybody is poised to do a good job, show a lot of commitment, and I can assure you that Nigeria is going to effectively manage this.
Right. And generally, what kind of precautions are Nigerians taking?
The World Health Organization identified the processes, and we are on top of it. Nigeria is on top of it. Even before this happened, all the health agencies, both federal and state, had already prepared for eventuality like this.
Right. Thank you very much, Chinedu. He's a reporter in Lagos, Nigeria, reporting what, the general feeling is amongst Nigerians after the confirmed case of coronavirus. Meanwhile, some shipping companies say, right, now our focus now will be on shipping, where companies say they are losing so much from the outbreak of the novel coronavirus. According to Aponche Cargo, a shipping in Accra, there are no more goods coming in and out of China, compelling shipping lines to find other means of getting supply. This, they say, is adding to cost of operation.
Me personally, my business down, and it's affecting everyone in Ghana, especially the traders, those who go to China to bring the stuffs, because we serve as a bridge between them. And because of this virus, they have not been able to travel. And due to that, even the airlines that they used to take them is like they've canceled all the flights from Ghana to Gwangju. Some they don't go to Gwangju at all. Some they don't go to even China at all. They've even given dates. Some will resume ending of February. Some they will come back during March. So due to that, actually my business is down. We are trying to get ways and means to do other businesses by trying other countries. And I know it's going to be very difficult. It has taken me years just to bring this company up through the Chinese. So if China is going down because of this virus, my business is going down because I have branches all over, you understand. I need to lay down some of the workers just to minimize costs, you understand, because things are not flowing like they used to.
We'll spend some more time on the coronavirus because it does affect every aspect of our life. Let's take a look at the global picture of the coronavirus. Dr. Michael Head is a senior research fellow in global health, University of Southampton, and he joins us over Skype. Good afternoon to you. So what does this mean for Nigeria to have detected its first case, knowing the quantum of business that happens in Nigeria and what the economy means for the whole world?
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me on the programme. So I think it's unsurprising that we've now seen a case in sub-Saharan Africa, but I don't think there should be too much concern at this precise point in time. Hopefully the Nigerian public health authorities have identified the case early. At the moment, it is about containment and reducing the number of cases that will be imported into a country. We have seen one case in Egypt and in Algeria, for example, in North Africa, and they have not seen any subsequent cases beyond that. So it is reasonable to expect that Nigeria, and if Ghana was to receive a case, they could contain it at source and reduce the overall impact.
At this stage, do we describe the coronavirus as a pandemic or an epidemic?
Well, the World Health Organization described the coronavirus a day or two ago as having pandemic potential. So I don't think we're quite at the pandemic stage yet. That usually involves sustained person-to-person transmission around the globe, as you might see in an influenza pandemic, for example. Usually, so far, it's been imported cases that have been contained on the whole, although we have seen some spread, for example, in Italy and Iran, but it's still fairly small scale. So we're not quite at a pandemic stage yet, but there is that potential for it to turn into a pandemic.
You make reference, of course, to Algeria and Egypt, who have both reported cases, and, of course, now we know of Nigeria. Should people in these areas panic?
No, they should not panic. All countries will have outbreak and pandemic plans in place. And because the virus has taken a while to get to Africa, then those plans will have had a chance to be updated. I did see a news report highlighting that Ghana appeared fairly well prepared for receiving any coronavirus cases. There have been some suspected cases in Ghana, and they've all turned out to be negative. So that shows that the detection and diagnostic capacities of Ghana has been tested, and they've been successful so far. So I think people should certainly be concerned and keep an eye on official sources for information, but there's no need to panic right now.
Interesting you mentioned Ghana, because I was going to bring you back to Ghana, where you spent about some 2 weeks, as part of your research. Would you say that we are better placed to, for instance, identify, early contain, if at all there's any case like Nigeria?
I think Ghana is well placed across sub-Saharan Africa to maintain a position of detecting cases early and then containing them. As we've seen with these suspected cases that turn out to be negative, your systems do work. So I think the general public in Ghana can be reassured at least a little bit by that.
Right. Did you visit any of the health facilities, Noguchi, Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and what did you observe?
Well, I've not been to Noguchi or Kolebu in recent times, so I don't know what the situation is like there at the moment. But certainly from an international point of view, both those institutions have a very good reputation, and both deal with international colleagues a lot. So I think that they are going to be very well placed to handle any cases should they arise.
Right. Now, it's been said that our climate is an assurance against the coronavirus. Is this true?
Well, it'd be interesting to see globally whether coronavirus cases do decline as and when the Northern Hemisphere winter ends, a bit like influenza does. We don't know the impact of climate upon coronavirus at the moment. So at the moment, I can't really give you a good answer to that. It's something we will only find out over the next 2 to 3 months.
What do you advise that we should do in Ghana?
Well, the public health authorities will be prepared. There will be communications going centrally from the Ghana Health Service and the Ministry of Health out to health facilities. In terms of the general public, I think general advice around reducing respiratory infectious disease. So covering your mouth and nose when you cough and sneeze, washing your hands regularly, making sure your vaccinations against other respiratory diseases like measles are up to date. That sort of thing is good practice and can help to reduce the risks of any coronavirus cases.
Right, thank you very much, Doctor. Dr. Michael Head is a senior expert on global health with the University of Southampton. Now, let's go on the prompter and get some more information on the update of the coronavirus. As seen here, COVID-19 countries that have been recorded cases, 56 in total. Egypt, Algeria, Nigeria, and of course, other countries in Africa that have recorded cases, 1 each. The number in total as it stands now is 83,726, out of which 2,859 have been reported dead. Persons who have recovered, 36,723. Virus incubation period between 2 to 14 days, and fatality rate from the virus is 2%.